Today, I reveal the best hub by Premier Inn Hotel in London. I've spent hours, days researching the different hotels, and I've come up with a rather nifty rating system to ensure we find which is truly the best hub in London. So grab a cuppa and let's go. Hi, I'm Hayley and this is my husband Scott. We love to travel around the UK and we've stayed in multiple hubs during our trips to London. Have you ever stayed in a Premier Inn hub? Let me know what you think in the comments. Quick note, this video is not sponsored or affiliated with hubs or Premier Inn in any way. Hubs are Premier Inn's budget offering. We love this concept. Yes, they're small, but the rooms are really functional. They have everything you need, and in our experience, they're always very clean. Before I declare which I think is the best hub in London, let's first talk a little bit more about the hub. The Hub by Premier Inn concept launched in 2014, the first one being in Covent Garden. The idea came from Whitbread, who own the Premier Inn brand, as a way to create a modern, budget-friendly option right in the heart of the city. They wanted to appeal to travellers who cared more about price and location rather than size, but still expected something clean, smart and comfortable. Since then, the concept has really taken off, with 15 hotels in London and about 3 in Edinburgh. There are also plans to build a new hub near Trafalgar Square, which I believe will become the biggest hotel in London. So what actually makes a hub different than a regular Premier Inn? First, the rooms are much smaller, but they're very cleverly designed, making use of all the space available with under-bed storage, pull-out desks and shelving around the bed. The standard rooms have a double bed where you can only access it from one side. The bigger rooms have a bigger bed and you can access that from 3 sides, just like a regular bed. They also feel a bit more high-tech and modern, with a touchscreen panel above the bed where you can control the lighting and the temperature, but we'll talk more about why that's not always a good thing later. They have 40-inch TVs with catch-up and free on-demand movies. The bathrooms are always really modern, which is one of the things I particularly like about them. They always have walk-in showers, they provide free shower gel and hand wash. They even provide a free bottle of water for each person on your first day, which I think is quite a nice touch. One unique aspect of hubs is that they don't provide tea and coffee making facilities in your room. You have to go downstairs to the lounge area to get them. This is great on one hand because it's unlimited. They have different options such as cappuccinos and lattes instead of just the instant coffee that you get in your room. But is it a bit of a faff having to go downstairs? What do you think? If you've stayed in a hub, do you think it's a faff having to go and get the drinks, or does it not bother you? The overall vibe of the hubs is a little bit more casual too. They don't have proper restaurants like Premier Inns do. They tend to have like a lounge area that serves drinks and food. The menu does vary based on which location you're staying at. Paddington is the only hub that is right next door to a regular Premier Inn, so they do share that restaurant. The breakfast also varies, with some locations only offering a continental option, such as Westminster, St James's Park and Covent Garden, but others do offer, I don't want to say a full hot breakfast, but it's quite a good hot breakfast, and that's at Westminster Abbey and Marylebone. And I can confirm that the breakfast at Marylebone was really nice. And the continental breakfast is £6 per person and the cooked breakfast is £8 per person, so I think that's really good value for like city centre London. I think it's really good. You do feel that the hotels are more aimed at couples or people travelling on business. The rooms aren't really big enough for cots and they don't provide them, so do bear that in mind if you're travelling with babies. Hi, Hayley here. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Now let's move on to accessibility. For those that don't know, I'm visually impaired and I also have a condition that limits my energy levels and my mobility, among other things that I won't bore you with. But accessibility is really important to me. Hubs have considered accessibility in terms of step-free access, lift to all floors, and they do have dedicated accessible rooms which have wet rooms, grab rails and emergency cords. They also have hearing loops and they do allow guide dogs. Now, even in 2025, some hotels don't know the law and don't know that they have to allow assistance dogs, so it is good that the hubs just do that without question. However, one major thing they seem to have overlooked is the touchscreen panels in their room. So a blind person staying in a room on their own wouldn't be able to adjust the temperature, they wouldn't be able to put do not disturb on, and they wouldn't be able to adjust the lighting. Now, before you say, oh, why does a blind person need lighting? Not all blind people are completely blind. Blindness is a spectrum, and some blind people are able to see light and wouldn't want to sit in the dark, but wouldn't be able to use the panel to adjust the lighting themselves. So just something something to bear in mind if you're visually impaired or traveling with somebody who's visually impaired. If you've never stayed in a hub before, you might be surprised to learn that not all rooms have windows. Some do have windows and some have a light box to provide the illusion of a window. I actually thought this was limited to some hotels, but I did a search on every hub's listing on TripAdvisor and every single one had a review saying they didn't have a window. Now, some guests actually don't mind this. Some people are more than happy to stay in a room without a window, but some don't like it. And I really do feel that they should let you know on the website when you're booking that this is an option. They do on some of the hotel listings, but not all of them. Now, I remember looking on their website a few years ago and the windowless option was actually a separate option when booking the rooms and it was cheaper. So they seem to have removed that now, and it's just a bit of a lottery whether you get one. When we actually stayed at the Marylebone hub earlier this year, I did email them and ask if we could have a room with a window because I get quite claustrophobic, and they did oblige, but just bear in mind that's not guaranteed. On their website, on the frequently asked questions page, they say some do have windows, some are window free. Rooms underground or on the lower ground levels don't have natural daylight. However, our calming ambient rooms are home to cozy, comforting mood-lit lighting solutions that allow you to unwind before bed and feel refreshed when waking up. On every listing on their website for these hotels, they say, here at Hub by Premier Inn, our terms and conditions are a little different, so please make sure you check them out before booking. But then they don't link to them and you have to go looking for them. And I feel like it's such a missed opportunity to make life easier for the customer and try to ensure that they actually do read them. But with that in mind, they actually don't mention anything about the window situation in the terms and conditions. This is only mentioned in the frequently asked questions, which you also have to go searching for. Are Hubs by Premier Inn actually a budget hotel? I know the cost of literally everything has gone up in recent years and hotels are no different. We stayed in the Marylebone Hotel earlier this year and that cost £172 for 2 people, including breakfast. Now, I just think this is £170. Like, that's no budget. That is so expensive. Even for London, I find that expensive. But I do think we got them on an expensive day because as part of my research, I checked all the hotel prices on a certain day, on the 12th of September, if you're interested. And actually the Marylebone one came out the cheapest at under £100 if you were booking the non-flexible option. So I do think we just kind of got unlucky that there was an event on, but still, £170. Scott was so shocked when I told him. So in terms of are they a budget hotel, I did some research and I compared 3 hubs against 3 other chain hotels. Actually, I checked the hubs against Premier Inn, I checked them against Travelodge, and I checked them against Z Hotels because these seem to be the 3 hotels that are most common within London. I did try checking against other ones like Holiday Inn or Pointer Hotels, but there's not enough of them to get a good comparison. So even though hubs can be on the expensive side, compared to these other hotels, they always did come out cheaper, or in one instance they were the same price as the Premier Inn, but they were never more expensive. So I guess that means they are a budget hotel, and to be honest, if I had the option between a Premier Inn hub and a Travelodge, I would always choose a Premier Inn hub. No offense, Travelodge. And if 2 people are traveling together, I would always recommend upgrading to the bigger room. Now, me and Scott have stayed in both size rooms multiple times, and every time we book a standard room, we're like, why have we booked a standard room? Like, why are we not in a bigger one? It's just, you can just get out of the bed like a normal bed and there's just a bit more space. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Now the part you've all been waiting for, which is the best hub in London? I should add, this is only my opinion. It isn't fact, and you're very welcome to disagree with me. But hopefully you'll find this information useful when it comes to booking a hub in London. And without further ado, I can announce that the best hub by Premier Inn Hotel in London is Goodge Street. Before doing this research, I probably would never have considered staying at Goodge Street, but actually when I looked into it, it ticks all the boxes. It's really close to Euston. It has really good transport links. It's 2 minutes away from the tube. Loads of buses go up and down Tottenham Court Road, and the British Museum is less than a 10-minute walk away. The only slight downside to Goodge Street is that they don't offer the cooked breakfast, they only offer the continental breakfast, but there are loads of options in the area, so it probably shouldn't affect your stay. Here's a full list with their scores. As you can see, it was very close between Goodge Street and the 2 at Westminster. And if you're wondering how I came to these scores, it was a combination of the TripAdvisor ranking, a ratio of excellent reviews compared to terrible reviews, a score based on how close it is to a tube station, and a value for money score. Very technical, I'm sure you'll agree. And I just want to say, even though Soho is ranked last, I don't know if there's such a thing as a bad hub. I just think some are possibly better than others. So if Soho's like the cheapest and in the location that you're looking for, I wouldn't hesitate in booking. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful or interesting, and if you want to watch a review of our stay at the hub in Marylebone, please do click the screen now.